In this video, we'll be learning about links. We'll use the anchor or A tag to denote that. The tag has one very important attribute to it. Before I talk about that attribute, let's recall what attributes are. Attributes are just extra information about a tag. For example, we were first introduced to attributes when we looked at the image tag in the second HTML video. We used the source attribute to specify where the image source was and display that image on a page. Now for the A tag, we use the href attribute to specify the URL of the page we are referring to and link the user to that page. The two types of links we'll be going over is the internal link and the external link. The internal link links the user to pages on the same website, such as the contact page or about page on a website. On the other hand, the external link links to any website on the internet, like google.com or youtube.com. Before we start coding, let's go over how to move in and out of directories. So we already learned that the slash symbol means that we're going into a directory or folder. For example, going back to the image tag example used in the second HTML video, we had our panda image inside a folder called images. So in order to link to that image of the panda relative to the HTML file, we first had to go into the images folder and move into the subdirectory. Now, what if we wanted to get outside of a folder or directory? In that case, we denote that by typing 2 periods and then a slash, instead of just a slash. I'll discuss this more during the coding walkthrough. Without further ado, let's start coding. So right now we are inside our Visual Studio Code, and what we want to do is create a new file called link.html, and then I'm going to do exclamation mark tab to get this basic HTML structure, and then I'll just delete the unnecessary stuff, and let's indent the head and body tags. Inside the body tag, I'll just name the title main page, and I'll do the same for the title. So now if we view this in a browser, this is what we see. Okay, now let's create a new folder, and let's name that pages. And then we want to open this folder, and as you can see, the arrow is pointing downwards. And then you want to create a new file called about.html. And then let's also create another one called contact.html. Now, for the contact.html, we're going to go back to our link.html page and copy this structure and paste it both in the about.html and the contact. Now let's just change the title. So right now we have our link.html, which is the main page, our about us page, and then our contact us page. Now what if we wanted to link the about and contact page from this main page? So let's first create an A tag. And in between the A tag, we can type any text. So let's just say hello, just any text. And then let's save this. And as we can see here, it just looks like a paragraph text. There's no link functionality, and it does not look like a link. So what we need is our href attribute that we talked about. And in between the quotations, we want to type what page we want the link to direct us to. So we want it to direct to the about and contact page. So let's first do the about page. So actually for the text, I'll say go to about us page. Okay, and then we have to link to that page. And in order to link to the about.html page, we can't just type in about.html. I guess we can test it out. So if we click on this link, it says cannot get about.html. So the reason why there is an error is because the about.html file is in a different directory as the link.html file. The about.html is in the subdirectory of the pages folder. So what we have to do is we first have to go to the pages folder, and then we have to go inside this folder to access the about.html. So in order to go inside a directory, we learn to use a slash and then type in the file name. Now let's save this and open this in a live server, and let's click on the link, and then there we go. It successfully takes us to the About Us page that we made over here. Now let's create the same for the Contact Us page. So let's just change it to contact.html and then go to Contact Us page. And then I'll save that, view in a browser. And then we have two links. So then let's click this one. There we go. And then we have this one. All right. So when we go to the About or Contact page, there's nothing here that can take us back to the main page. So what we can do is go to the about.html and then create a link. So let's say go back to main page. And then for the href, so again, we can't go from the about.html directly to the link.html because of the different directories. So first we want to get out of this pages directory and then move into the link.html. And in order to move out of a directory, we want to type period slash. So what that does is it moves us out of the pages folder, and then now we can move to the link.html. There we go. And then let's save this. And we have this go back to main page button or link. And then we can press that. And then it takes us back. And then we can go back to the about page, and then it takes us back. Now let's do the same for the Contact Us page. And we don't need to change anything. So let's just save this. This is go back to main page, go to contact, go back to main page. So this whole thing that we made was an example of an internal link. So let me just title that to make it easier. Internal link example. So these are the internal links that takes us to pages on the same website. Now let's try to make an external link. And what an external link does is it takes us to any other website on the internet. For example, like Google or YouTube. So we want to create an A tag, and then in between the A tag we have our text, the link text. So let's just say Google for this example, and then we add the href attribute, and then this time instead of providing the path to the file names, we want to just directly type in the URL. So that's the URL of Google. And then here we go. We have a Google button. Let's click it. And then it takes us to Google. Now that is the example of the external link. Now, if we wanted to go back to the main page, we can't use the first method that we used where we, like for example, on the About page created a link that takes us back. We can't do that because we can't change the Google page. So what we can do is add another attribute inside this A tag. So let's space another attribute called target. So what this target equals quotation underscore blank does is it reloads Google but in a different tab. So let's save this and open it in live server, and let's click the Google link, and then as you can see, there's a new tab. So if we go back and press it again, it creates another tab that takes us to Google. Okay, and that is all it for today's video, and see you in the next one.